All right, we are live on something. I'm not sure what, but according to my eyes, we are live on at least one platform. We are on Free Conference Call HD as we have been for 4 years as an agency and probably 10 years of my working life. And if you can see us, glad we're here. If you can hear us, appreciate you being on as well. Let me give you the laydown of the format over the course of this new format. That was redundant, right? How's it going to work? Well, we're going to do like we always do. I'm going to open up the Friday call with some thoughts. I'm going to turn it over to Adam, and he's going to share some thoughts on his sales week. And then at around 9:25 or 9:30, we're going to shift our focus into a long form training topic. Whatever that topic is, that'll be on Adam to handle. And he's going to do an awesome job dissecting something big picture like he used to do on Mondays. And then after he's finished that topic, I'm going to do my level best to say as little as possible, because if I say too much, his topic is going to take too much time. At the conclusion of his topic, if anybody would like private training, anyone has a Q&A question, anyone just wants something brought to the forefront for us to help you with, that will be an open mic opportunity at the conclusion of his long form training. So either way, however you're watching, listening, or attending today, we appreciate that. Good morning and welcome into, as you know, and as I've always said, the most important day of the week. And while it is unofficially the end of summer, I want to look at it a little bit differently. I want to reshape our mindset and look at this weekend as an opportunity to jumpstart your fall, as an opportunity to really be intentional with your preparation so that you can enjoy some time with your friends, your family, and the beautiful world around you, but that you also take the needed time necessary to essentially service your business. Think about it this way. If you were to open up a restaurant, I drove by one of the local restaurants in town this morning at around 6:45. They had already done all their prep for the day. They had already cleaned the tables, set the tables, and were ready for the first person to walk in the door, way before that person ever arrives. If you did the opposite, if they did the opposite, they didn't start anything until someone showed up, it would never work. So preparation is so critical across multiple different types of businesses. And here's the truth. Growth doesn't happen accidentally. Average happens accidentally. Getting by happens accidentally. You're just surviving. You can do that accidentally. But growth is an intentional practice. Preparation is intention just the same way. And you can take an hour to get organized. And by just doing that 1 hour, I'm going to ask for a little bit more than an hour over the course of 4 days. But if you just did an hour of organization, I promise you the following week, you would make $1,000 or more dollars more. I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4 ways you can do that. And then I'm going to turn the call over to Adam. But I want to encourage you as we wrap up this week to still keep it productive, still keep it profitable, still put money in your bank and submit business and put them on the books, but be extra intentional with this holiday weekend as we roll into fall and into the busy selling season. So how do you do that? First on the list this morning is to take an hour over the course of the next 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever time you choose to take it, and go back through any of the leads you purchased in the last 8 months over the course of this year. Go back to any of the leads you purchased in the last 1 year, the last 10 years, put them on a spreadsheet and either dial them yourself or turn them over to the appointment setting team. We've tested it. We've done this. And guess what you'll find? That if you just scrap together a spreadsheet of all the leads you could find in your attic, in your trunk, in the glove compartment, under your desk, hidden under your bed where your wife can't find them, and you put them all on a spreadsheet, you're going to get at least 5 to 7 appointments. I promise. And from those 5 to 7 appointments, you'll have made back the hour of time it took, paid for your appointments, and proven to yourself it was worth it. Next on the list this morning is to take 30 minutes over the course of the next 4 days and clean your car, your office, your closet, whatever your workspace consists of at home or on the road. Cleanliness leads to confidence. Disorder leads to chaos. You guys know that one. That's nothing new to you. But putting a little bit of time into cleaning your work areas is going to give you extra confidence and extra excitement. And excitement sells. Excitement to get back in the field with a clean car, an organized desk, and money to make. Next on the list, take 1 to 2 hours over the course of the next 4 days to complete your AHIP certification. You cannot let this pass you by again. Watching others build their back-end income while you continue to beat doors and need every single application to pay every single bill is no way to get ahead. You're better than that. Once you've got your feet on the ground in final expense, now it's time to grow wings and add Medicare. Next, take 15 to 30 minutes over the course of the next 4 days to review your bills, your budget, the money you make, the money you spend, however much you need to make in the month of September. Get a sense of your finances. No one's going to do this for you. Well, you could hire a company to do it for you, but that's a different conversation. You got to do it for yourself. And if you aren't tracking your bills, your budget, how much you make and how much you spend, you're not putting money aside for your taxes, you are flying in the blind in your business, plain and simple. Worst, you're not actually even running a business. If you don't track your income and expenses, I'm not saying you need a profit and loss statement, but if you don't have a working understanding of what's going on with your money, you're faking it. And you're faking your way to failure. And anybody on a call like this, either watching or listening today, you're better than that. And lastly, take time over the course of the next 4 days to set your schedule for September. Set your goal, set the days that you're going to work, maybe the days that you can't, and get organized and remain committed to that schedule. Several of you are so close to a breakthrough in your business, you might not see it, but we can see it. That's our biggest responsibility in leadership, to identify talent and get it to that next level. Several of you are so close to a breakthrough in your business. If you just put in a little extra hours, risk a little bit more, spend a little bit more, push a little bit harder, and then show yourself what you're really capable of doing. So let's focus, like I said, on ending this week on a productive note. Write business, put money in your bank account, and make that last interaction of the week a positive one so that you can carry that into September. Leave August's trash behind. The summer is finished, and it's time to really focus on what you intend to do this fall. Because success isn't going to happen accidentally. And I can tell you what, Adam put together a pretty solid week. Is on with me live today, and I'm excited to hear what sales concepts he has to share as we continue with our new Dynamic Friday format. Adam, I can see you. Hopefully you can hear me. What you got to share with us in the middle half of today's call?
Yeah, morning, Chris. Hope everybody can hear me. Yeah, pretty good week. You know, I always set my goals pretty high. I can kind of hear myself echoing. I'm not sure if it's your audio.
Yep, just a second.
All right, thank you. Okay. Oh, much better. Well, no, now I can hear myself still. All right, I'll try to talk and without hearing myself repeat myself. Okay.
Okay, I think you should be good now.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. So, as I was saying, I always set my goals pretty high, especially if I see other people in our group that are setting high goals. Well, if they can do it, I can do it too. So, you know, I think one of our guys set like a $7,000 goal for the week. And just seeing that, well, I don't want to set a goal any smaller than that. Heck, if he has the confidence to go out and write 7,000 in premium, well, I have that same kind of confidence built up that I can do it too. So I set a $7,000 goal for the week, and again, I'm only out 3 days: Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And I didn't hit the 7,000 for the week, but it was still a productive week. So I'm just going to kind of run through some of the experiences that I had, and I think some pretty good situations, honestly, that I think will definitely help a lot of you on the call, hopefully. The first sale that I made, it was a appointment that was set through our appointment setting team. And it was a lead that was probably about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months old. And someone had actually already been by to see the guy. And I don't know, they must have just caught him at a bad time or something. He was kind of right away when I got there, he was kind of guarded, just kind of was kind of ticked off, really. Like, didn't really have a good mindset or a good attitude about sitting with me. And I was able to just kind of calm the guy down, started talking a little bit about what we do and how this is important. Talked a little bit about my experience in the business, that I've been doing this for a long time. And, we really do try our best to put people in the best plans out there that are available. And I mean, he could see just kind of through how I was acting and talking to him that I really did care about his situation and the fact that he did need this. And I think that really makes a big difference. He did mention the other person that had come by was almost maybe a little nervous. He said they might have just been nervous, but they just, because they didn't seem very confident, he said I don't know, I just didn't feel right about it. I didn't feel confident in moving forward with anything. He said, I almost didn't even know if it was legit, because whoever came by and was talking to me, they weren't very confident. They were nervous. So that's something, I mean, whether you're new or you've been in this business a long time, you got to have that confidence. You got to walk in kind of with the mindset of knowing that you're going to be there to do business today. And you can't like trip over your words. You got to be prepared. If you got to practice, if you got to work on a presentation with somebody before going out, great. And if, you know what, and if you're nervous and you've been doing it a while, you're not doing it enough, because I mean, it gets to the point where this is really second nature. It's like, it's easy. I show up and I mean, I'm so confident. So that really helped. And the guy, even, he was still a little hesitant. I was still able to push him to move forward. And he ended up taking out, I think it was like 20 or 25,000. It was a good sale. It was, I think, right around $100 a month, 80, 90, 100, something like that. So it was a pretty decent sale. From there, I didn't have a whole lot of appointments set. I have so many leads already. And what I ended up doing was, I ended up just putting a route together, door knocking some leads. And I mean, I was out pretty much all afternoon, not a whole lot of success. Didn't really catch anybody at home. It was probably about maybe close to 7 o'clock at night, I bet. And I got another lead. I'm knocking on the door. Nobody's coming to the door, but I heard people talking in the backyard. So I walked around to the back. They had like a little gate, like a little fence. And I just peeked around and I just said, hey, what's going on? How you guys doing? And just started talking. And the guy came over to me. I told him who I was and why I was there. And I showed him the card that was filled out. That was actually a lead card for his mother, who was 84 years old. And I told him, yeah, this was about the, pertaining to the Social Security death benefits and the final expense program that is available to cover funeral and burial and all those things. And he said, well, it's a little too late. My mom was actually in the hospital a couple weeks ago, and now she's in hospice. He said they found out that she's got like stage 4 cancer. There's nothing that they can do for her, and she's pretty much on her way out. And I said, wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. I wish I could have done something to help, but at this point, yeah, you're right. It's a little too late. I said, but it's not too late for you. How are you set up? Do you have any coverage for yourself? Because I mean, I'm sure just based on what you're going through right now, you can see the importance of why you don't want to wait. You waited too long for your mother and now you can't do anything. So you want to make sure you have something for yourself. And he said, yeah, I have some health conditions and this and that. And, it's something that I've also been putting off. And he was there with his sister. We ended up all going inside and sitting down. And I ended up writing a policy on him. And he did have some health issues. I ended up writing him the American Amicable Platinum product, which is nice because it does have like the funeral planning services involved with the Everest. another reason I liked writing that, because it was a return of premium. They call it return of premium. A lot of carriers, it would just be considered modified. One thing that some of you may not know, that the American Amicable Platinum product, if you write it, the return of premium, they do not reduce your commission, where pretty much any other company, any other product out there, if you're writing a modified policy, you're going to be taking a haircut on your commission. But with the return of premium on the platinum solution or platinum legacy products, they do not cut your commission. So if the price is pretty comparable to the others, I figure why not? Not only that, I'm able to add that value with the Everest to make up for the difference. It's going to end up saving the family some money in the long run. And I'm not going to take a dip in my commission. So it was a win-win for all parties involved. So ended up writing that one. It was a long appointment, honestly. They were kind of a bit of talkers, and I didn't get out of there till after 9 o'clock at night. So yeah, it was late. Got home about 10 o'clock. The next day, on Wednesday, unfortunately, I didn't end up with anything. It was a long day. Had a few appointments, just couldn't get anywhere with anybody. I also, I don't know. I think I was just tired too from the day before. It was a long day. I was out there all day, and I think maybe was getting to me a little bit. I still stayed out, but just didn't really have a whole lot of success, unfortunately, on Wednesday. But then I was back at it yesterday. And yesterday, my first appointment was actually an old Facebook lead. So that was something I was very happy to see. The appointment setters, they set me up an appointment on a lead that was like from last November or December. I looked back because it was actually an appointment that they had set previously, and I was not able to get in touch with this person. I'd shown up. It was like a no-show. I remember calling the lady, and at the time she was in the process of moving and just had a lot going on. But fortunately, the appointment setters, they got back and they called some of my older leads. I think some of my newer leads, they were just kind of getting to the point where they weren't getting anywhere with them. So they decided to call some of the older ones, and I was happy to see that. So went in on a lead that was like from last November, and I wrote it up, and it was like $66 a month. It was a pretty good sale as well. And with an immediate death benefit. And then the rest of my day yesterday, I didn't really have many appointments set. I had one other appointment at, what was it, like 4 o'clock. So in the meantime, I got back to my car from that first appointment, and I was putting a route together. And while I was putting my route together, my phone rang, and it was a client of mine that this guy's had policies with me for probably like 10 years. And he said, "Hey, Adam, how you doing? I thought about maybe upping my insurance. What do you think?" And I'm like, "Well, sure. I'd be happy to help. You can never really have too much." And this guy's got quite a few policies. He's a good guy. He's definitely looking out for his family, not only to cover his funeral, but just wanting to make sure that he leaves behind at least a little something for them. He's just a good caring guy, honestly. And, he could be doing much other things with his money, but he's looking out for his family after he passes away. So, and I ended up writing another policy on him. It was a $12,000 policy for like $90 a month. And I wrote it right there over the phone. I already know the guy. The process was easy. I was on and off the phone with him in 30 minutes, and we got the application done. So that was like a freebie to me. Like, that was pretty cool to get that $90 sale while I was just sitting in my car putting my route together. So then I hit a few more leads, didn't get anywhere. And then I had another appointment. And that appointment was a Facebook lead, a new lead. It was actually a toolkit lead. And I knew going in that it was going to be a sale. One thing that was pretty cool on these toolkit leads is that, you provide your phone number, and I think one of the call to actions on the ad is that they can actually contact the agent right away. And last Friday, actually, I got a call. I saw my phone ring. I picked it up, and it was the Facebook lead. So the lady had seen the ad, and she called right off the ad. And I tried to get in there like that day. I was like, well, I could just come by right now. And she's like, well, unfortunately, I'm actually sick right now. My son is sick. I got court on Monday, so we're going to have to make it like later next week. I said, all right. So we ended up setting it for yesterday at 4:00. And she did have some health issues. She was 79 years old. She just lost a policy because it was a policy where she was misinformed, I guess you could say. She thought it was a whole life policy. It wasn't. She was making her monthly payments, and then suddenly she got a notice that her premium was going up about 4 times. So it was going from like, I think she said it was going from like $60 a month to like over $200 a month, and she just couldn't handle it. So she ended up losing that policy. Fortunately, I was able to get her a new policy with an immediate death benefit, and I wrote her $12,000 in coverage at her age for like $125 a month. And she was happy. Like I said, she was 79 years old. She had a $25,000 policy. So, I mean, her insurance was kind of cut in half, but she was okay with that. She just wanted to make sure that she had enough to cover her funeral expenses and maybe leave a little bit to her family. And it was just a cremation policies, or that's what she was looking for to do with that. So, and then the last stop I had yesterday, it was an appointment that was also set by the appointment setters. And it's something where I really feel like I don't care if you're like spiritual or not, but like I really felt like God was like looking out for my client in this situation. It was a lead that was a direct mail lead that it was actually probably 4 or 5 months old. It was like an aged lead that I came across, and it actually was a policy holder of mine, of a policy that I wrote 18 years ago. This lady has 3 policies with me with a company that I don't even do business with anymore. And so I showed up and I was just like, "Hey, remember me?" And she was like, "No." I'm like, "Adam, I'm your insurance agent. Like, you've had insurance with me for like 18 years. You took out your first policy with me when I was like 24 years old." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I think I remember you." She goes, "What company are they with? I want to make sure it's you." And I told her. She was like, "Yeah, okay, that's you. All right, just making sure." She said, "Yeah, that was a long time ago. You probably looked a little bit different back then." So anyways, we sit down and she goes, "Yeah, I had some issues with my bank, and I've actually been getting some notices from the insurance company, and I think my policy might be at risk of lapsing." And so we sat down and I said, "Well, why don't we just call in to see exactly what's going on with your policy and that?" And we called in. She asked if it was all right if I spoke with them as well, and they were like, "Sure." They just wanted to make sure too that my client didn't care, and my client just knew I was there to help her. So she's like, "No, sure, you can talk to Adam." So we're going through things, and her policies actually, she was like 3 months behind, and they were going to lapse. And had I not shown up there and gone through this with her, she would have let them lapse, because in the meantime, she just took out a new policy with Colonial Penn because she felt like her other policies, they were probably gone, nothing she was going to be able to do about it. There was some cash value in her policies. I was able to have them use like 3 months of cash value to make her payments back current. And then that way she didn't lose her policy. And then we were able to get her set back up on the bank draft. I did find out though that she had taken some loans on those policies. So she had like 30,000 in coverage. Now she had about 23,000 in coverage. She's actually going to get like a breakdown of the loans and the interest. I told her, you at least need to set up where you're paying back a little bit more each month, so those policies don't continue to deplete, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to keep hitting you with interest on those loans. Because she told me she'd only taken like maybe a total of like 3,000 in value out of those policies, but because she hadn't been making any payments towards it, the policies were continuing to decrease. So I'm actually going to be going back there next week to kind of figure out the best route to go after that. I told her, if anything, I could help her with maybe like a $7,000 policy to make up for the difference, because right now she doesn't have the 30,000 that she had. And it would take a real long time for her to pay that back to get back to the 30,000. So, because I think she, like I said, she owes about 7,000 on those policies. So, but like I said, I kind of felt like God was looking out for my client, because what are the chances of a lead that's like 4 or 5 months old being called at the time that her policies lapse, and with an appointment being set with the agent myself that originally wrote the thing 18 years ago to go by to help her to make sure that her policy didn't lapse. So it was, I even told her, I said, boy, I think God is really looking out for you. And she said, yeah, I think so. I think he sent you to me here today. And I said, I agree. So that was really the conclusion to my day. I was real happy to be able to help my client that had that coverage for so long. And, I felt good about it. Didn't do any additional business with her yet, but I mean, I know I'm going to get a lot more business out of that house because of the fact that I was able to help her and save those policies that she'd been putting thousands of dollars in over the last 18 years. So that's about all I got for now, Chris.
Outstanding. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm at least on free conference call. I can see you live, just trying to get all the things working the way they're supposed to. I'm going to summarize what he said as he gets his presentation loaded up for the long form version of today. And I'll wrap up free conference call and our call format for 9:30 in just a moment. So here's the thing. Preparation equals confidence. You got to be prepared. You got to practice your presentation. You got to get yourself in front of 100 people when you're new as soon as possible. Practice equals confidence. Nervousness is oftentimes a lack of preparation. And remember, you're selling something that these people need. You're selling something that these people are going to use. You're selling a very valuable product that's going to change the generational outcome of the decision that's made in that home. Don't be afraid to door knock digital leads. That's another point I have written down from what he said. Digital leads are harder to get on the phone, but they're still going to set them, but you should expect to door knock them a little bit harder. And one of the most powerful things I ever saw on appointment setting, as Adam gets the long form training ready for the 9:30 portion of today's conversation, is the appointment setters are going to set appointments for you on leads you have given up on so long ago. 3, 4, 6, 12, 18 months ago. They're going to keep dialing through those until that person tells them no. And sometimes you're going to get appointments you would have never find. And that absolutely makes appointment setting, no matter who is setting the appointments for you, worth the money. So let's end this week on a positive, a productive, and a profitable note. I'm going to hang up on Free Conference Call HD, but you can switch over to StreamYard or watch us live if you haven't already, as we take the next 25 minutes or so, dive into a long form topic that Adam used to do Mondays that we're doing Fridays. And then at the conclusion, if anybody would like to get on with us live, we would be happy to answer any questions that you have to help train you for next week. Adam, 9:30, clock is turned, and the long form time is yours.
All right. Well, here we go. Give me a minute. We'll be getting this loaded here in just a second. So thanks again, everyone, for coming on this morning. This is, new format. I decided that, I'd been doing my trainings on Mondays for probably the last, at least probably 4 or 5 years. Prior to that, I was doing my trainings on Fridays, and just kind of got to thinking about it. Me and Chris, we do a lot together, and just kind of got thinking about it and decided that I would rather have agents getting up on Mondays and just getting out and getting their day started out in the field and just kind of ready to start selling. I have a lot of guys on the trainings that, my trainings were starting at 10 o'clock Central Time on Mondays, which is 11 o'clock Eastern, which would mean that, heck, by 12:30, that's when those trainings are ending and half their day is already gone. And then they're heading out in the field. So I just kind of got to think about it. I'm like, I would rather do that on a Friday. Hopefully people had a pretty productive week Monday through Thursday, and then they can take that time on Friday morning. But even starting a little bit earlier on Fridays with our call and then the training right after, we'll have people out and ready to go, and still be able to hit the field today. Heck, we'll be done by 9:30 Central, probably at the latest, 10:30 Eastern. And like Chris said, if anybody has any questions or if they want to hop on afterwards, you could even shoot us your email, and we could send you like a little invite to just hop on our StreamYard after we're done going live. I think there's probably a way that we can figure out how to do that. So today I'll go ahead and get our training started. And I just figured, heck, if this is like the first training that we're going to go this route, I figured it'd be a good topic, just talking about kind of getting started, putting a plan together to kind of get started. And today's topic I just did is final expense strategies for fast success. So agents that maybe are new to the business, that are maybe just kind of getting started, people that maybe just are looking for a better plan of action, people that have not maybe been as productive as they would like to be, and they're just maybe looking for other ways of generating business, or maybe they just need some reminders of what they need to be doing. They might know what they need to be doing, and they're just not doing it. So that's really what we're going to be kind of going through today. Wanted to talk a little bit about what we got going on here too. This slide might be a little small here. I just threw this one together at the last minute here, but join our team. For those of you that are maybe looking for new opportunities out there, we have a lot going on here. We have we got a good lead program. We have a career-sided program for agents. One thing I found too is so many times when people are looking for new opportunities, they maybe have the motivation and the willingness to get out there and do something, but maybe they just don't have the funds. Maybe they just don't have the money for leads. We have ways around that, and we have ways to kind of get agents out in the field without agents having to put forth any upfront money. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions, if you would like to maybe learn a little bit more about the different opportunities. And we do a weekly opportunity webinar that we'd be happy to invite you to, or we can kind of even get into more of a breakdown of exactly what we got going from beginning to end, about maybe a 25, 30-minute presentation that I think you'd see the value in doing business with us. I've been, like I said, 21 years in the business, successful, still out in the field writing business, still keeping up to date with the current trends of everything that's out there with the different carriers and the different lead companies and programs. Chris, heck, he's probably one of the top producers in the industry. I'd say I write a fair amount. Chris writes a heck of a lot more than me. Maybe not anymore because he's not out as much in the field. But when he's out there, boy, he's putting the premium up. So that's one thing that's nice about working with us. You're working with people that are still out there. We're out there. We're writing business. We know what we're doing. Some of these groups I've seen, some of them I don't think people have ever sold. They just saw an opportunity of, I could just recruit a bunch of people and put a general sales stuff out there, and that's no good to me. You're better off working with people that are kind of keeping up with it. And honestly, I've talked about, I'd love to get to the point where I'm out of the field. I don't know if I'll fully ever get out of the field. It's kind of hard to do that when you have so many clients that need you. So, I don't think I'll ever fully be out of the field. I'm always going to be out there and still doing what I can to help people, because you know what, too, yeah. I like to make sure people are set up the right way. And there's so much garbage out there, unfortunately. And so many people, unfortunately, too, that just aren't doing stuff the right way. And that's another thing. We teach our guys how to do business the right way. Our whole focus is on building a legacy and being here long term, not just starting one day and getting rich overnight and then spending all your money and no more money for leads, and then you're looking for a new opportunity. Like, we're going to show people how to do stuff the right way, so they're going to be here long term, because we want you to be able to build that sort of legacy for your family. I always think about, how do I want to be remembered? How do I want people to think of me when I pass away? How do I want to be remembered from my family? And to me, it's just all about, doing stuff the right way. And that's what's going to keep you in the business a long time. I've been very successful in the business never had a complaint against me. I've always done stuff the right way. And, that's my goal, is just through my own experience of success to help more and more people kind of have that long-term mindset and goals. And I know, Chris, you're kind of right there with me, with, that's kind of what we're looking for, right?
Absolutely. I think
You need to turn
especially
your
now
mic
that
on.
it says the audio should be good.
Yeah,
back to me.
yeah. I think
Can
you
you
need
hear
to
me?
turn your mic on. You might need to go to the settings, because I can't hear you. I don't know if anybody else could type in, maybe, but yeah, I don't know if your mic is. You might need to just go to your settings. Oh, you can hear Chris loud and clear, huh?
That's okay.
Maybe it's me.
Maybe it's you, but that's okay. I think the moral of the story is
Oh, you know what? It is me. Okay, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead and talk for a minute. I'll fix my settings.
we got a lot of different formats we're trying to get straightened out here. Boy, is it uncomfortable to try something new, but I think it's powerful to take what we do and what we've done for years and put it out in the public, invite our agency on to watch us, not just listen to us, but invite the general public to see us have these kind of conversations, to provide the kind of training that is practical, field-based or phone-based, real sales experience. Because Adam, I don't want to take up too much of our time because we don't have a lot of time on our new format, but I reach out to people all the time, and sometimes I have conversations with agents and they're dodgy and the stuff they say doesn't make sense, and it's suspicious. But we're going to share it all out there for the world, because if we make people better and they make their lives better, I'm happy to do that every Friday live for the world to see.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, sorry about that. I figured out what the technical difficulty was, so now I can hear you. So I think we're good. So anyways, moving forward here, we're going to talk about, again, like I said, I wanted to kind of focus on new agents or people that just kind of need to put a new plan of action together, getting your business up and running the right way. We'll talk a little bit about ordering leads. We'll talk a little bit about working leads. And then we're going to work all the way up to preparing to present. And then I think maybe next Friday, I'll go through my in-home presentation, so you guys can kind of see, live what I say in the home and what I do to make so many sales. I mean, honestly, it's not the presentation. There's so much more to it than just that, but it does help. So I think next week I'll make a note of that. We'll work on going through the presentation next Friday. So if you're brand new, first thing, you got to learn your carriers. Kind of like what I was talking about earlier on our morning call. You need to be confident in what you're talking about. And if you don't know your carriers and you're shuffling around, I think that's a part of it too. It makes it look like you don't know what you're talking about. And I mean, I'm not going to buy something from somebody if like they don't really feel confident in what they're trying to sell me. So you need to know your carriers. I think keeping it simple is important. I see people posting all the time. I saw somebody post last night, like, who's a great carrier to get started with? And I'm thinking, the one that contracts you first. That Chris says that too. The one that will, put a contract in your hands and you can go out and write some business.
Amen.
So, once you have a contract, you can go out and write business. I've contracted people. I got this one contract, but I'm still waiting on a few others. Why? You have the ability to go out and write business. So keep it simple. You don't need 30 different carriers that all do the same thing. Like, we're not collecting baseball cards here. Like, I mean, we're
Look,
talking
I got
about
another contract. Yes.
Yeah, I got another contract. Look at me. I wasted another hour filling out a contract that I'm probably never going to use. Oh. You just don't need all that stuff. Keep it simple. We focus on maybe 4 or 5 different carriers. And this year, I tell you, I don't think I've written business with more than 4 or 5 carriers total. If I have, it's been maybe just a here and there one-off sort of thing, but just doesn't happen too often. So it's all about keeping it simple. I have like a go-to carrier, and then I'll have one to maybe just kind of fill in a few of the little gaps here and there, and then like a guaranteed issue. You don't need a ton. I did have one that was almost like a price buster. Their rates went up. So, but honestly, you don't even need that. I kind of look at it. People are buying from you. If they like you, they're going to buy from you. They're not shopping around. They tell you they're shopping around. That's just a way to get you out of the house. Um, so like I said, keep it simple, be confident. Um, like I said, if you have one company, well, too, if you have one company that insures most of the people you talk to, lead with them. So you don't want someone that's going to be too hard to do business with, where it almost feels like they don't want your business. You want to write with a company that you have a good chance of a lot of that business getting approved. And another good thing about kind of focusing on a lead carrier, you're able to reap all the other benefits. There's carriers that we have that they have so many different perks. Not only just the different incentive trips, but we have another carrier now that heck, they have a lead credit. Every app you write, they're going to comp you some lead money. They have cash bonuses. So just a lot of different things that, I love carriers like that, that to me, that's like an agent focused carrier that wants to do what they can to earn an agent's business. So if you can do business with a carrier like that, that's going to help you when it comes to your marketing, paying for leads, that is also going to help you with even more marketing money with cash bonuses. They have a fast start bonus. They have like an annual bonus. Like I saw something, I think if I write like 200,000 in premium over the year, it's, I don't know, somewhere between like $12,000 and $15,000 bonus. Like that's just free money.
That's crazy.
Like, you kind of have to look at it. If another carrier is not doing that, well, why, especially if you're at the same commission level, well, I would want to focus on the one that's going to pay me more money, over the long term. So, but like I said, keep it simple, focus on one carrier that you like, lead with them, use maybe a few others when you need to fill in the gaps.
Yeah. Real quick, Adam, one quick note here, if you can hear me. I love, and I've been working, the busier life gets, the more we have to do Medicare, the more training, the more managing, the more family time that's required. As on like 3 companies, maybe like a primary carrier that I can do 85% of my business with. I don't even care if it's the cheapest. Is it generally competitive, easy to understand? Does it give me an instant decision? And does it put money in my bank account in an expeditious manner? Primary carrier. Secondary company probably takes Direct Express, someone like a Transamerica or whatever. There aren't many that take them now, but someone with a good standard rate product that takes Direct Express, that takes that 20% that my primary company didn't take. And then GI, like 5%, even modified product. Adam, we put a new career agent in the field this week, and the first company that contracted him was Royal Arcanum. Who cares? Great application, easy to understand product, preferred, modified, go. And guess what he did? He went out there, he put himself in front of people with leads older than some of our kids, and he wrote business. It is so critical when you're talking about getting a quick start to get a quick start. Yeah. Get a carrier contract, more going to come, going to take a while for some, but as soon as you got a writing number, you can log into the application and you have leads in hand. That's all that you need to at least get started.
That's it. When I did my contracting with them, Chris, within 1 hour, I had a writing number. I think that's the fastest. That's the fastest I've ever gotten appointed with a carrier. Like I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, holy cow! Like they already went through. Like to me, it's the same thing. That's a carrier that wants your business. If they're willing to, contract agents that quickly, they want to earn people's business. So, and they pay out different bonuses and stuff too. So, kind of a nice little thing. Same thing. The comp might not be the highest, but heck, in the scenarios where you need them, they're good for close to guaranteed issue, and they do pay out some different bonuses throughout the year. Let's see. So, study the different carrier products and agent guides. Just kind of learn the background behind the products. Like I said, it's all about kind of building that confidence and knowing what you're talking about. Just like anything else, you got to study your craft. Insurance toolkits. If you don't have it, I don't know why you don't. I think that's a very useful tool. It's worth the money. It's $40 a month. That's the cost of one lead. And it's very useful. I still use it all the time. I know a lot when it comes to all the different scenarios, but it still helps. There's scenarios that you run into that are just kind of like, I wonder what they'll do in this situation. And a lot of it to me is, it's not like just like a one-off situation. It's more like when maybe people have multiple health issues, that the more people have wrong with them, the higher likelihood that it's going to go maybe like a graded or a modified. But every company is a little bit different when it comes to that. When it gets more complicated is when toolkits to me really helps. So I think if you don't have it, you need to have it. It's worth the investment. It'll pay you back like 100,000 times every month. So don't be afraid to contact your upline manager as well, whether that's me, whether that's Chris, whether that's somebody else. You might not even be a part of our group, and that's okay. Don't be afraid to contact your upline. Your upline is there to work with you. Like, that's what they're there for. If you have questions, they should be there to help you. And if they're not, well, you might want to look for a new upline. I mean, to me, I've always kind of looked at this as like, yeah, you know what? Uplines, they earn overrides. Well, they don't earn overrides just for contracting agents. They earn overrides for being there to assist and help agents when agents need them. And that's really what it's about. I mean, I've even had people in the past that they want to contract agents, but they don't want to work with them. Well, send them to me. I'll work with them. If anything, I'll give you I'll send you a bonus or something if they write some business. But in the end, yeah, you're not going to make it anyways if all you're doing is just contracting agents and you're not doing anything to help them and support them. So, but that's really, if your upline is not there to help you, you need to find a new one that is willing to. Now, if presenting in a home and your client has questions, same thing. Don't be afraid to call your manager, your upline. When I first got in the business, I did this all the time. Again, I was like 21 years old. And, again, like I talked about earlier, where the one agent that was visiting with the lead, the guy just didn't have that confidence. That agent, if it was one of my guys, could have called me. And maybe that would have helped the client to even have a little bit more confidence. If the agent was willing to just say, you know what, hold on, let me call my manager real quick and ask him. Maybe the guy had questions and the guy just wasn't sure certain things, whether it was me or it was just somebody else. I mean, that's something that I think agents need to do. And like I said, I used to do it all the time. If I didn't have an answer, I was more than willing to call and get that person the right answer. I wasn't just going to sit there and stumble around and make something up. And I think, like I said, I think the clients appreciate that too.
And here's the thing, Adam. Yeah. I know we only have just a few minutes on our new format to get through the topic, but I had a situation this week where I had been at it all day, up at 5 a.m. in the field by 10 a.m., running the call, running appointments. And I got hit with a situation I wasn't even sure what to do with. I'm like, this is confusing. This is complicated. And I reached out to somebody in the business in our agency who's smarter than me when it came to that issue. And they just kind of reminded me of something I figured out on my own at that point. But it's working with other people that want to work with you that are going to make you better. There is no harm in calling for help. And some of our agents, especially our career agents that are making money and not having to pay for their leads and putting food on their table, they're calling all the time. Landon on his first sale on that Royal Arcanum application on those aged leads probably called me 6 times. And I said, keep calling me. Let's get this done. And the more you do it, the better you get. And that's what we're here to do for you. So don't be afraid to call for help in a home. And if nobody answers, you got an upline problem and it's time to go shopping.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I called into a carrier while I was there because I was having trouble with some stuff. I mean, the client doesn't care. Like, they're not in a rush. Like, if anything, I'm the one who's like kind of like trying to hurry because I'm trying to move on to the next. But the client is not in a hurry. And same thing, they would rather have things done right and even get the right answers when they need them, rather than just making something up because you're just not quite sure. And then 4 things that are crucial to your success as a new agent. And some of this, really, I mean, if you're part of the career program, money management might not be as important because we're kind of managing that side of the business for you. But for those of you that are, running your business where you are buying your own leads on a regular basis, money management is crucial. And I'll get into a little bit more of that in a minute. Consistently ordering and working leads. As I always say, broken record. We talk about that all the time. structure when it comes to learning a presentation, even like I said earlier, when it comes to kind of learning the different carriers, knowing what you're talking about, and work ethic. And I mean, work ethic, heck, I mean, you could come on these trainings and learn as much as you want. And what good is it if you can't get out of bed in the morning to go out there and do it? Why waste your time if you're not going to put it into action? And I think work ethic is key. Like, you could spend money on leads. I had a guy once buy 80 direct mail leads, and then he just sat on them. He wasn't going out and working them. And it's like, what are you doing? I just don't have my presentation quite down yet. Well, the best way to learn a presentation is to just get out there and do it and learn it. And the more you do it, the more confident you're going to get. But yeah, work ethic is key. And to me, I don't know if work ethic can be taught. It just has to come from within. You got to be the one willing. Look at the reason behind why you're out there doing this, and maybe focus on that. Focus on your why. I got a lot on my plate. I mean, I'm nonstop out in the field. You can't stop me. Chris will even tell you, like, when I'm out in the field, it might take me 8 hours to get back to him on something. So, but work ethic is key. So money management, setting money aside is crucial if you want to have long-term success in the business. And I think not only setting money aside for leads, but even setting money aside for taxes. That's something that I don't think enough people talk about. If you're not setting money aside for taxes, you're going to get hit hard, and it could get to the point where you're out of business. And some people that are brand new to the business, they don't understand. They're so used to the whole W-2 where they get their paycheck and taxes are already taken out. That's not the case in this business. It's a 1099. They're not taking money out for taxes. And if you're not setting money aside, you're going to get hit pretty hard at the end of the year. So I always recommend, be sure to set money aside, not only for leads, but also for taxes. We need that constant flow of leads to be successful. What I recommend doing is to open up a separate bank account and just call it your leads account. And every time you earn a commission, transfer 30% of every deposit into the leads account. 30% might sound like a lot. It really isn't. I think you're better off to have more than enough in that account than not enough. So transfer 30% into that account. And that's the money that you're going to use every week to place future lead orders. That way you always have the money set aside. If Chris is doing the lead orders for you, Chris has been pretty helpful. Even with me, he orders leads, and as they come in, this morning he sent me an invoice. I just got to pay him for them. But it makes it a lot easier when you already have that money set aside to be able to just pay for the leads, and you don't even have to worry about it. And the more you do it, it's almost like you get used to the money that you're making, and that money that's set aside, just it almost feels like free money. That's what it's for. It's just for your marketing. But when you're running a business, you have to be investing into your business. And well, like I said, unless it's a agent that's on the free lead program, well, you need to be doing this. Even the free lead program, though, heck, our free lead program is not taking money out for taxes. So you still need to set some money aside for that.
Yeah. And my one quick note here in the time that we have today, if you feel responsible enough and you've got your legs under you, use a rewards credit card for your leads account. I told Adam jokingly, but it's probably not a joke. We're probably going to Sandals this winter for free because the lead account and the lead credit card and all the reward points that build up because of it. And it makes it more fun. And to me, spending money doesn't bother me when I know it's giving me American airline miles or status or hotel rooms, or it just becomes a fun game at that point, reinvested into your business. So once you become responsible enough to manage a credit card, put those leads on a card that's going to reward you back for it the same way you should use a carrier that rewards you back for giving them business.
Yeah, good call, Chris. So your first week, again, focusing on whether you're brand new or just looking for like let's just say you're starting over. Your first week, you got to remember it takes money to make money. You may have to invest a little bit more your first few weeks. And the reason I say that, and I'll get to that in a minute, but the reason Well, because you got to place an order for leads for right now. And then you also need to order leads for the future. Direct mail leads, I mean, we're talking about a good 3-week turnaround minimum usually. So you'd be ordering leads for the future, but then you also need leads to be able to get out in the field right now. And I'll break that down in a minute. If you don't have money for leads, well, as I mentioned, we do have the free lead program. If you don't want to be a part of that, well, work your warm market and do whatever it takes to write business. What I would consider doing, I would call it like a warm market fast start. Think about people that you know, put a list together, 15 people that you know. I mean, if people know you and they like you, they'll be willing to sit down with you and contact them, let them know about what you're doing now. Maybe they don't even know that you're in the insurance business. Maybe they need life insurance. Maybe they took out a policy that was garbage and they don't even realize it. So contact people that you know, let them know what you're doing now. Ask if you can come by. Just tell them, you just need a little bit of help, and it'll help you too. That this is something that a brand new agent, it'll help you build that confidence going through the presentation anyways with somebody that you already know. They're not going to care that much if you're stumbling around on your words, if you don't seem like you have it quite down yet. They don't care. They understand. So not only is it going to help you when it comes to learning the presentation, well, it's going to get you in front of some people. And I mean, all it takes is just a few of those people. Heck, 15 people. If you sit down with 15 people that you know, I bet that you could write 5,000 in premium just from those 15 people. And right there, 5,000 in premium, talk about a good way to be able to reinvest into your business right away without having to, put money on a credit card. I see what you're saying there too, Chris, and that's fine. They could use the credit card and then right away, at least they're making that money to pay it back right away. So, find people that write that business. And like I said, just need about 15 to 20 minutes tomorrow so I can come by and practice my presentation with you. And by practicing the presentation, you're going to have some people that say, oh, wow, that actually kind of makes sense. That's something I think I could actually use. And like I said, on 15 of those calls, I bet you write at least 5 of them, or at least 5,000 in premium. And it's low pressure. You can quote and try to write a policy. Like I said, if they aren't in need, ask them for some referrals. People that are willing to help you. They should give you some referrals, people that they know that maybe they feel could be in more need of what you're there to try to help them with. So, like I said, great way to kind of get right off the bat. If you don't have money for leads, just a great way to be able to generate some business at like zero expense to you outside of the gas that you're putting in your car. Like I said, set a goal of writing 3,000 to 5,000 in premium your first week off of that warm market, because I think it's very doable. I'm sure you would agree, Chris.
Yeah, I've posted in the comment section across the platforms that we're streaming on. You're in a holiday weekend this weekend. You're going to be around friends. You're going to be around family. Don't be a Primerica agent, and I mean that respectfully to Primerica, but don't be an undercover agent. Like, this isn't the CIA. They should know what you're doing, especially if this is something new to you. You should be freaking excited about it. Tell them you need to practice your presentation, and what you're saying is so accurate. And here's the other side of it. If you don't practice and if you don't talk to them about it, when somebody dies, you're going to be the butthole that didn't help them with insurance. They're all going to look at you because at that point, you'll know what you're doing and you've been successful at it. And they're going to be like, Adam, why didn't you talk to Uncle Billy about insurance? Now he's dead. Yeah. He doesn't have it. And you're going to be like, man, that was stupid of me. So don't be overbearing with it, but don't be an undercover agent, and be that person that your family and friends can come to and get started with as well.
Could you imagine that? Like, if someone close to you passed away, Chris, like without insurance, like you would look pretty bad, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I was almost guilty of it. 4 or 5 years ago, I asked my dad, I'm like, Dad, what do you have for insurance? He said, what insurance? I'm like, the insurance that I'm going to sign you up for when you come over next week. Like, oops. Yeah. Or, I before you're partnered with us, our assistant, a longtime friend of mine, I helped her husband get a policy, great policy with NLG. She didn't get a policy. They both died. I mean, I felt awful, even though they had insurance, that they both didn't have insurance. Don't be an undercover agent. Let your friends and family know what you have. I mean, Tom Dixon is on with us. He's watching on StreamYard. He does social media posts all the time, and they're all great. They're all educational. His entire business is built on branding himself throughout people's warm markets. So don't be afraid to just put the word out about what you do.
I mean, how would it look, Chris, if somebody close to you, family member, passed away and you're posting all over Facebook a GoFundMe? Like,
Just quit. Just quit right then.
like,
Just
yeah,
quit.
like what would that do to your career? Like,
Go back to what you were doing. That didn't go
yeah.
well.
I mean, you need to be helping everybody that you know to not have to be in that sort of scenario. That would just look really bad. So, cold door knocking too. I mean, I've done it. I talked about the fact that I worked with a company in the past that financed me leads. I was 21, 22 years old, got to the point where I was just overfinanced. And they said, we can't give you any more leads. So you need to figure out a way to write more business or go get a new job. And I decided, well, heck, other people in this neighborhood filled these cards out. I'm just going to go around the neighborhood and knock on some doors. And all it took was that one person to let me in to make that sale to kind of get me right back on track, to pay off some leads and kind of get right back to moving forward. So you just have to have that willingness to do it. And I've always said cold door knocking works, but it's hard. But being broke is harder. So, you have the choice to make. Would you rather put that time in and maybe knock on a few doors? I mean, we practiced and studied this and tested it a few years back, one of my agents, and every 40 doors that you knock on should equal one sale is what we determined. So, I mean, if you think about that, you could knock 40 doors probably at least in maybe an hour or two. And if you're working in an area where those houses are close together, all it takes is that one person to let you in. But every 40 doors that you knock on equals a sale. I mean, why not do it? Like I said, people just don't do it because it's hard. But actually, the owner from the first company I ever worked with used to call me all the time. Adam, I know you work leads. Do you ever try doing neighborhood enrollments? He's like, you should try it. Knock on some doors. Just tell them you've been assigned to do a neighborhood enrollment. He said, we never worked leads. All we ever did was just door knock back in my day. And he would actually call me like once a month and ask me, you make any sales off of cold door knocks? So just another great way, even on your leads, knock on some doors around the leads. You're just going to get more out of those leads. But, practice doing those neighborhood enrollments. The best areas, like I said, are middle to low income or the homes are close together. If you've worked leads, heck, like I said, pick out the neighborhood that you've already had leads in. All those people more than likely are in the same scenario. And real simple. Hi, my name is Adam Brsan, and I'm a benefits coordinator licensed with the state of Illinois. And I've been assigned to do a neighborhood enrollment for a state-approved final expense program that will pay your family up to $50,000 in the event of your death to cover all of your final expenses. I just need about 5 minutes of your time to see if you'll qualify. Can I come in? It's as simple as that. And they either say yes or no. If they say no, who else can I help that you know? Try to get some referrals out of them. And that's it.
What's interesting about that is every time that there's some type of work being done in my neighborhood, someone's getting a roof done, a tree pulled down, something's happening, they always send somebody from that crew to cold door knock the rest of the houses in the neighborhood. And there's maybe 5 or 6 houses on the street. It's not a really big neighborhood, but they're close enough you could walk them. And they just go canvas for more business because they're already there. I mean, they're already making a sale. They're getting their product done. Why not ask somebody else in that type of situation, especially when you're new, when you need every application to pay every bill? You should be putting in that extra kind of effort.
Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's, if there's a will, there's a way, I've always said. And again, I mean, you got to be willing to put that time in. Yeah, it's hard. Would you rather put that time in and push for, or would you rather continue to be broke? It's up to you. You can cold door knock a list even. I think List Shack is still a thing. If not, well, I'll have to look into it. But I've done that in the past. I used List Shack where I would pay for a list. And what was cool was I could generate that list based on age and income. And I would just door knock the whole list. I would sort it by zip code. And I would sort it by like the last 4 digits of that zip code. Like it might have been like 60435-4109 or something. And I would sort it by those last 4. And that puts you like right in like the neighborhood of those leads. And I would just door knock the list. And when I did it that way with a list, that way I was only knocking on doors of people that were kind of within that right age group that I was trying to target. And people that were kind of like, I knew for sure, like were within that right correct income. Facebook aged leads, aged direct mail leads, and we have access to that stuff too. So anybody who needs assistance with that, I mean, we can get aged leads, direct mail for, I think what, Chris, like $2 a lead. Does that sound right?
Yeah, $2 or $3 when you talk about fees and processing, but I just posted in the
Okay.
chat. For $2 or $3 a lead, you can get 100 leads, and I guarantee, even at the base level of skill, you're going to write one application to give yourself the activity to get out the door. That one application is going to make you your money back and get you into that next sale even easier. So if there's a will, there's a way, like we've been saying for nearly over a year on these trainings. But we've got all the options out there. People just have to literally choose which one of these options do I want to partake in.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we're talking about the hard way when people are just getting started. And when you make that one sale, you got to turn around and just reinvest that money right away. Reinvest it into the new leads. It's going to make your life a lot easier when you have the new leads to work every week. But aged leads, I've always looked at. I mean, look at, if you were on our call earlier this morning, I talked about how one agent had visited with the person, didn't do anything. I went back and wrote it. So, there's still a need there. People are filling that card out for a reason. And I mean, I've even had leads that I've worked that I haven't gotten with that I've given other agents that they turned around and worked them. Maybe the person just didn't like me. Maybe they just didn't like how I looked or something. Maybe they liked the other person better. Who knows? Maybe I just caught them at a bad time of the day and or week, and they didn't feel like talking to anybody at the time. You just don't know the scenario of really what's going on in their life. But people's lives change too. People's health changes. What wasn't important to somebody 6 months ago is going to be important to them now if they had a heart attack within the last 6 months. So just different things like that. Life changes, things occur. You can get a lot of business off of the age leads, but you want to treat them like a new lead. You don't want to treat it like an old lead. My experience, people fill lead cards out all the time. We get repeat leads all the time. People, we mail. Why is she sending this in again? Like, I already wrote a policy on this lady. Why is she still sending these things in? But that's what they do. They continue to send them in. But that's where, like I said, I mean, I could take an old lead and they might have just sent a new one in last week. So they don't know if it's the lead card they sent in 3 years ago or the one that they just sent in last week. So there's definitely business there, but treat them like new leads and you'll get something out of them for sure. So your first 4 weeks, what I recommend doing, order 30 Facebook leads, maybe 20, 25, depending on the Facebook lead type. I do like the toolkit leads. They do come in not the fastest, but the quality is good. So, I might order maybe 20 or 25 of those because I am going to be paying a little bit more for those than some of the more generic Facebook leads that are out there. But the likelihood of sales maybe are a little higher. So, but order somewhere between 20 and 30 Facebook leads because those are leads for right now. Those are leads like if I order today, those would be my leads that would be like for next week if I was just getting started. Unless you order like the age leads, like I talked about. But like I said, the best way for success would be to at least have some sort of leads to work your first week. Like I said, the Facebook, at least those are brand new leads. If you can afford to do it that way, that would be the best way to do it. And then also you need to order 20 direct mail leads, or at least do like a 1,500 piece lead drop. So that's where, again, we talk about the investment. There is a little bit more of an investment within your first few weeks because you're ordering not only leads for right now, but also for weeks 4, 5, and 6. It'll get to the point where you're just ordering those leads for the future weeks because the new leads will be coming in. But any sales you make, transfer that 30% of the commissions into that separate lead account. that's what you'll be able to use for the future lead order. So that's what I would recommend the first 3 weeks. You got to focus on immediate leads, and then you got to focus on future leads. Weeks 4 and on, you should have direct mail coming in by then, hopefully. If you don't, place more Facebook leads. But if you do, you just need to continue placing those direct mail lead orders for the future weeks. And if anything, you can always increase that to maybe 25 to 30 a week. I'd say on average, I'm usually purchasing about 25 a week, sometimes 30. But then same thing, transfer that 30% of all the commissions into that lead account. So you have that money set aside for the future lead orders. From there, when the leads start coming in, I would recommend, I used to always be just about door knocking the leads, but it doesn't hurt to call the leads first. Get, especially the Facebook leads. The second that thing comes in, I'd recommend to call it. The second that thing, they just hit submit. You just got a text message that you have a new lead. Boom, right there, call it. Because that's, that's the hottest that lead's going to be right then and there. And then, make calls every day, including Sunday. I would say from like 8 to 9 o'clock at night. The reason I like to make those calls later, I think that people are busy. A lot of people we talk to, they do have kids that they're watching, maybe grandkids. You call a little bit earlier, they still might be busy work, with the kids or grandkids. They might be making dinner, things like that. And you know what? They also have a ton of other calls coming in. When I'm sitting in somebody's house, I feel like their phone is ringing off the hook with different people trying to sell them stuff, where you're just going to be another one of those people if you're calling earlier in the day. But if you're calling at 8 to 9 o'clock at night, most of those telemarketers are no longer calling at that time. So I think you have a better chance of people answering their phone thinking that it is something important, and it is something important. So it's a good time to be able to reach the people. Much better chance of them answering, and maybe even a better chance of getting those appointments set. And try to set those appointments, I would say 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock on the hour for as many days as you're out. Try to set those appointments for like the next day. If you're calling on Sunday, you want to set for Monday. And then, as you can see here, I also say the reason I don't have on here a 9 a.m. appointment, well, while you're on your way to your 10 o'clock appointment, you're probably going to have some gaps to fill in throughout the day. That's a great time while you're in the car, get on the phone, call your other leads, try to fill in those gaps to fill in your schedule for the rest of the day. The closer you are to the time that you can set that appointment, the higher the likelihood that they're going to be home. Like if you set an appointment today for like today's Friday, we have a holiday weekend, and you're setting that thing for like Wednesday, I could almost guarantee you that they're not going to be home. They're not going to remember you set up an appointment with them today for Wednesday. So you want to set something like, if I'm calling Monday, it's going to be for Tuesday. If I'm calling Tuesday, it's going to be for Wednesday or the same day. Like I said, 9 a.m. in the morning, try to set for the same day. If you got to set it for like the next day, that's fine. But just remember, the further out that you're setting that, the higher the likelihood that they're not going to be home. And if you get rejected on the phone, they don't give you the time of day. They might think you're just a telemarketer. They might just hang up on you. Take that lead, put it in your leads that can be your door knocks. And they're great leads to hit in between appointments. And they're not going to remember that you're the same person that they hung up on. I've done it so many times. They might have been mean and nasty to me when I called. They might have hung up on me. I show up and they might be the nicest people in the world, and they let me in, and I have no problem whatsoever getting in the door and making making some sales. And then just a few examples of the different direct mail leads. Like this is a pretty common lead that I use with Need a Lead is I would say like my preferred vendor. They're good to do business with. They're good people. They're very helpful, but it's just your basic direct mail lead. 2024 benefit information for Illinois citizens only. You may qualify for a state regulated program to pay for your final expenses. It is important that you know how to qualify for this life insurance benefit available to you. So this one does say life insurance. Not all of them do, but honestly, I don't notice a difference. Whether it says life insurance or not, the only time it makes a difference is if you make a difference out of it. To me, a lead is a lead, and you treat them all the same. You're going to generate business. Don't feel like just because it doesn't say life insurance that they're not going to realize it's about insurance. So this one says life insurance, but other leads out there, they don't. So, but this is just one example, the DE73 lead piece. I think the DE72 maybe is one that doesn't say life insurance, but sometimes maybe you'll get a better, you might get a better response back on those that don't say life insurance. Like I said, to me, it doesn't really make a difference. Either way, a lead is a lead, but that's just one that I've used in the past that has worked pretty well. The phone script. Hello, Mary. Hi, Mary. My name is Adam Brsan, and I'm a state licensed underwriter calling about the pink request card I received back from you that you had just sent in. I just needed to verify a few things with you real quick. You put down that you're 78 years old. Is that correct? Or young? You could say either or. And I have your address as 1050 Park Lane. Is that correct? And so you're obviously, what the reason I like doing that, you're already getting the person to say yes. They're already agreeing to the information that you're asking them about. Yeah, that's their address, more than likely. Okay, great. And I know that your phone number is correct because I'm speaking with you. And then sometimes they might even laugh. I'm going to be in your area tomorrow to go over your benefits. And I just need to see if 10 a.m. works for you. See what they say. And then if not, try another time. Okay, I also have an opening at 2:30. Is that better? If still no, have them tell you what time they're available. Okay, great. It will only take a few minutes to go over what you qualify for and take care of you. And then is your address a house, apartment, mobile home, any cars outside that'll help me identify your house? I have always done this. I mean, the more information that you can get, the better, even if that person's not home. Now, when you go, if it's a no-show, well, now you know what kind of car is going to be there the next time you drive around. If you see the car there, well, there's a good chance they're going to be home then. So yeah, when you got that person on the phone, get as much information out of them as you can. That's just going to help you even in the future. Just so you know, it's me. I'll have my state ID badge with me. Whether you have one or not, you could say I'll have my state license with me. And so you'll know it's me and I'm easy to spot. You can describe yourself even. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow at what time again? So then you're getting them to tell you again. Okay, 10 o'clock. Okay, well, have a great day. So that's just how I do it. Seems to work. I'm sure there's many other ways people set up appointments. That's worked for me in the past. Just a little something to help you there. And same thing, if you need scripts and all that, reach out to me. I mean, I have a lot of those different tools available that can help you, even the presentation script. And then we are just about done. Some other things real quick to help you out in the field. I recommend you need some sort of routing app on your device. I used to use like a Garmin GPS. These days, I just don't feel like it's necessary because you can use the apps on your phone. I use one that's called En Route. What I like about En Route, I can put a route together of about 100 leads if I really wanted to. And I can change the color of like the pin on the map. So if the person wasn't home, I could change the color of the pin if I want, where then I know that I've already worked that lead. The next time I am looking at the map, I can see the ones that I've already worked. I can see the ones that I haven't. I can see, even if I make a sale, I'll change the color of that pin to green. I can also add notes in En Route where I can put the name of the lead, even like on sales that I make, I'll input the name, I'll even input the coverage amount that I wrote and the carrier that it's with. And maybe I have a little bit of time between appointments, but not a lot of time. I can look on the map. If I see some green pins in the area, well, those are people I can go and catch up with, people that are clients of mine. They've already let me in their house once. And just another way to make a sale. But yeah, En Route is really good. I know there's others like Road Warrior, I think is one a lot of people use. En Route, it's like $5 a month. And it works well for me. At least I know it's available in the App Store. In Apple, most people these days have Apple. So So that works. If you are an Android user, I don't know for sure if En-route is in there. I know Road Warrior more than likely is. Notability or Good Notes. Chris uses Notability. I use Good Notes. They're both very comparable. What I like about those is that you can search for your leads in there. At least how I have it set up. I can even teach people how to do that if they're having trouble with that. But I can search for the leads. So I can put a route together. When I show up at the house, I could just type in maybe the first, like the numbers of the address. It's going to pop up in there. So the lead pops up right away. I don't print out my leads anymore. All of my stuff is right in Good Notes and makes it a lot easier. Like I used to have so many leads all over my car. I'd probably lose half of them. Half of them are like crumbled up in my back seat. Like on the Good Notes, it makes it so much easier to stay organized. And right now I have about 1,200 leads that still need to be dispositioned in my active leads in Good Notes. So it's a good problem to have. I always have people that I can go see. But when the leads arrive, get an En-route. You can have your appointment set, but then you can also put the routes together. And I've done that. I mean, heck, the day my leads come in, me personally, I'd rather just take those leads and just hurry up and run out there and go see the people. But you can set the route. You can set up the appointments if you like, and just put the route together. And with Good Note, you can optimize the order of the route. So it's going to put you in the correct order of your route from like closest to like the last lead that you're going to hit, like from A to Z. And it just saves you a lot of time too. I've had agents in the past that they think they know the area that they're working and they just try to put the leads in order themselves. It's a lot easier when you just kind of have it all put in order for you. Kind of keeps you on track too throughout the day. And just begin your route and go from one lead to the next. If the lead's not home, make a note on the back of the lead if you are printing them out, or on the app that you're using, like Good Notes or Notability. You can make notes right on the leads so you know when you were there and when you maybe should try back. I'd recommend trying a few times during the day. You can't reach them, well, then you want to try in the evening. And then you can even create like a separate folder in your Notability or Good Notes of your night and weekend leads. So then leads that you've tried a number of times that you can't reach during the day, move that to the night and weekend. And then when it gets to like around 4:30 in the afternoon, well, go to those leads and put a new route together. And you'll have a much better chance of getting in front of people if you're working those leads of people that you haven't been able to reach during the day. More than likely they're working during the day. So you're going to be able to have to try after 5 o'clock at night or on Saturday. Saturdays are great days. So remember, like we've talked about today, you're going to get out of this what you're willing to put in. And if you're not willing to work a Saturday, you're going to lose some business because heck, I had one last night. The husband and wife, she said, well, my husband's a truck driver. The only time he's here is on Saturdays. I usually don't work Saturdays. It's Labor Day weekend too. I'm going to make an effort to get out there and go see the guy. I had a $7,000 goal for the week. I've only written 5,200. Still, I mean, pretty good week, but I mean, heck, if I could write that 1,800 at noon tomorrow, why not be willing to go, drive a half hour to go see the person to write some business, and then I can get back to my weekend. But you got to be willing to do that sort of stuff, even if it's not part of your usual schedule sometimes, because, like I said, people work. The only time, like she said, the only time you're going to be able to reach us is on a Saturday or Sunday. So if you're not willing to come see us on a Saturday or Sunday, we're just going to have to go somewhere else to do business. And they were serious about wanting to do business. She's like, we have insurance on the job, but we know we need something else. So if I can catch them at home, there's a real good chance I'm going to do some business. What to wear, shouldn't even have to put this on here, but same thing, be comfortable, keep it simple. I've always said you don't want to look like you're a detective. You don't want to dress too fancy, but you don't want to look intimidating. Like I'm wearing kind of like a golf shirt today, a polo. That's what I wear out in the field. I'll wear a golf shirt, polo shirt, and I'll wear like slacks, golf pants. Really, they're really comfortable. I'd really rather wear them than jeans. And if you have a Costco membership, I got some for like $15-20 a pair. So that's the old man talking right now.
Oh my gosh.
So I do all my shopping at Costco now, Chris.
Did you guys know that on Dynamic Fridays you would be getting fashion and budgeting advice? Did you? I didn't think if you stayed on to the very end and you find out what Adam is wearing and where he buys it, you stay on any longer, you'll find out all about board shorts. Boy, it's absolutely worth
Yeah.
your time on a Friday.
Man, I got Greg Norman golf pants for like $20. They sell Banana Republic shirts at Costco now. Like, yeah, I'm telling you, old man talking here, but you can get some pretty good deals on some nice stuff for work for sure, or even casual. So, what to take up to the door? Anything you need to sell a policy. Like I had one guy say once, well, I like to just pull up and leave my car door open and make it look like I'm not really there to stay. Why? Like, aren't you there to do business? Like, if someone came to my house and they just left their car door wide open and they were like, okay, well, if you want to talk now, I'll just go back to my car and get my stuff. I'd probably close the door and lock it and not let them back in. So, no, you want to take anything up to the door that you need to make a sale. That's what you're there to do. You want to do it right then and there, because the chances of you getting back in that house after you make contact with that person is pretty slim. So once you're there, once you make that face-to-face contact, you got to do whatever you can to get in the house. So that's what you need. Anything that you need to sell a policy. Real quick door approach. Hi, Mary. I'm Adam Brsan. I'm a state licensed underwriter, and I have your request you sent in a little while back. Point to the lead. I have a little time before my next appointment. Takes about 10 minutes. Can I come in? That's it. You don't need to talk about what it's about or anything. They sent the thing in. They know what it's about. So you show them the card. I have your request you sent back. I have a little bit of time before my next appointment. Takes about 10 minutes. Can I come in? You don't need to over-explain yourself at the door. You could talk yourself right out of getting in the house. So the goal is to get in the door, period. Future trainings, you can still get on adambrsan.com, sign up. We'd love to have you on. We can send you the link for future trainings to our StreamYard. You can also catch these on the Insurance Life and Everything in Between YouTube channel. We do try to get them on the Facebook group here and there. I don't think today I didn't have time to get that put together, but yeah, in the future, like I said, feel free to get on there, sign up. We'd love to have you on there. And if you want, like I said, mentor training as well, you can get on my site. You could fill out the same form and just put a little note in there that you would like to have a free 15 to 20 minute session after our call. And that's what we're doing. I see other people out there posting that they're charging to mentor people. They're charging people, $5 a month or $45 for a session. We're doing this for free. So would you like free from two people that have 30 plus years of experience nonstop in the business? Or would you rather pay somebody else that maybe isn't as experienced? So that's up to you. And then also my own YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/Adam Brsan. You can check that out as well. I do post the trainings on there also. So if you are unable to watch it live, you can always go back and watch it later. Of course, you also want to check out the Insurance Life and Everything in Between podcast, audio format, Apple, Spotify, and all these other things that I forget the name of. So check them out. If it's a podcast platform, there's a good chance that we are on it. And like it and share it and comment. And the more people that you can help us share this content with, the better the industry will become as a whole. So thanks again for attending. There's my information. And thanks again, Chris. I hope y'all enjoyed our first Friday of our new format, the Dynamic Fridays with Adam and Chris. And I think it went pretty well. So if anybody has any questions, I can look on here.
Yeah, we've been answering some good questions. Yep. I took care of a couple as they came in, but I think it was a great first Friday, episode 1 of Dynamic Fridays, every Friday, 9 a.m. all the way until 10:15, 10:30. And now guess what, guys? You got plenty of time to get out the door, get in front of people, put money in your bank account by helping families. Don't let the day go to waste, and then get set for September and the busy selling season.
Thanks again. Talk to you guys next week.